guys, Nike here. I wanted to do a quick video, although I don't know if it's going to end up being quick, on what I have in my shared inventory slots. This is a question that comes up basically every time I stream, and also quite a bit on YouTube when I show my inventory. And I've never actually done a video on this for some reason, so I thought I would go ahead and give you guys a breakdown of what I have in there. So without any more talking, let's get into it. All right, so I will go through each item, what it does, and why I have it. First up is the Mistlock Sanctuary Pass. In my opinion, this is the highest value pass that you can get on the gem store. Some people might dispute that. Some people would say the best one is the one that the least people go to, because that means you have faster loading times and less lag and all of that and higher frame rate, whatever. But I think the fact that this has the fractal entrance kind of puts it above of the others, in my opinion. Plus, it's the prettiest, and that matters. Next up is my salvaging stuff, which is Copper-Fed Salvage-O-Matic, Silver-Fed Salvage-O-Matic, and Runecrafter Salvage-O-Matic. And you might ask why I have all three. Well, the Copper-Fed, and it's mostly efficiency. So Copper-Fed you use to salvage blues, so fine and lower. The Runecrafter Salvage-O-Matic you use to salvage greens, and the Silver-Fed you use to salvage rares. This is the most money efficient way to salvage things. If you don't have a Runecrafters, it's not that big of a deal to use Copper-Fed on the green items that you're salvaging. But if you do have a Runecrafters, it is worth your time to go ahead and use it on your greens. So next up we have the Personal Merchant Express. This is, I think, incredibly valuable for me, so I'm glad I have it. For most players, it's probably cheaper at this point to get the portable ecto gambling thing. I mean, if you have a gambling addiction and you don't want that temptation at your fingertips, then by all means get a Personal Merchant Express. But the cheaper option is certainly the gambling merchant. However, I bought this years and years and years ago when it was probably around 100 gold, and I don't regret it at all, so I have it. Next up is the permanent bank access, which is very expensive. I think at the time I'm recording this video, it's over 5,000 gold. Again, this is an item that I got probably in 2013, and I think it probably cost me less than 200 gold. At the time, it would be very expensive to have to rebuy this now. What does it do? It lets you access your bank from anywhere. My bank, I'm in the process of reorganizing everything, but it is incredibly valuable to be able to access your bank no matter where you are in the open world, or if you're in a raid, anything like that. Being able to access your bank, very, very convenient. And there's a reason why it's so expensive, and it's because it's incredibly convenient. But at the same token, Personal Trader Express, this allows you to get anything off the Black Lion trading post, which is, again, very convenient, especially if you're in a raid and you ran out of writs or you ran out of toxic focusing crystals. You can just order some and buy them and pick them up without having to leave the raid and without having to ask anyone to send you some to tide you over. Just very, very convenient. I'm glad I have it. I don't know offhand what these cost. They're probably rather expensive, but personally, again, I got all three of these items when they were well less than 500 gold each, so for me it was not that big of an expense at the time, but now to replace them would be quite expensive. Next up is the Mystic Forge Conduit, which, as might surprise you or might not, allows you to interact with the Mystic Forge anywhere you go. Generally speaking, the only time I ever use this is when it's daily Mystic Forger and I want my free Mystic coin. So I will just take 4 random blues or 4 random greens and throw them in the Mystic Forge no matter where I am in the world, without having to go somewhere where there's a Mystic Forge. Armor or endless repair canister. This is purely, this is a huge waste of money. I would not recommend anyone actually buy this. However, I sort of have a the broken armor thing, or like the damaged armor thing that comes in your health when you're after you've died. That annoys me. I don't like seeing it. It bothers me. And this is basically like a fake internet OCD remover button. It gets rid of that little annoying debuff thing down there, and I like making that go away, so that's why I have it. Yeah, no, but I don't recommend it. It's not a great value. It's not worth anything since it doesn't really do anything. Next up is the permanent self-style hair kit, which I have almost exclusively for the flex, because if you are a close follower of my channel, you know that I haven't changed any of my characters' hairstyles in probably 5 years. So having it is not very high value for me. Although I will say the benefit is that you get all the exclusive hairstyles. It's nice when you make a new character to be able to have all the exclusive hairstyles without having to buy one off the Mystic Forge. Very expensive item. I definitely did spend a lot of money. I believe I spent 2,400 gold on this. And it was mostly for the flex. But in the end, I do end up using a lot of exclusive hairstyles, so I've gotten at least some value out of it. If you're the type of person who changes your character's hairstyles on a regular basis, maybe it is worth it to you. Not really worth it to me, but I have it anyway. Next up, portable permanent provisioner. This is the World v World thing, and I believe... Actually, I don't remember how you get it. I think there's an achievement, or it's one of the masteries. It's one of the World v World abilities. I think it's like the Provisioner Master. You get it once you put enough points into it, and it lets you buy siege and all of that, which is fine. It's whatever. But what I use it for, since I'm not really a huge World v Worlder, is these cheap foods. Sometimes you'll be around in the open world and you just on like a random alt that doesn't have any food, and you don't want to spend like a very expensive food like a butternut squash soup or whatever. You don't want to spend a lot of gold on expensive stuff, so you can just use this basically free food. And it's not level 80, it's not best in slot, but it's free, and it's good enough for the open world for the most part, so that's why I have it. Yeah. Next up is a very high value item, and this is recharging teleport to a friend. It is purchased on the gem store, and it is insanely high value. This is so good. Do I use it every day? No. But I've used it to cheese jumping puzzles, to get characters into maps that they haven't explored yet for events or for whatever. It is a high quality of life item. If it's available on the gem store, I would recommend people buy it. It'll make your life easier. And then next I have a set of gathering tools. Why do I have a set of gathering tools in my shared inventory slots? And the answer is that way when I log on to any of my alts, if I want to do like a gathering run on my alts, when I log into my alt, I can just double click all of them. It'll replace the temporary or the diminishing gathering tools that the alts have with these, and then when I'm done with that alt, before I log out, I'll switch it back and put these back there. So they're available to all my characters, and so whenever I'm on any character and I want to do gathering, I will always have a perma tool for them. Next up is the portable gating crystal and the portable magnetite shard merchants. These are the raid currency things. You get them from completing raid achievements. They are very useful. I don't often, I mean, especially now, with the armory, there's almost no need for any ascended gear. But what it does allow you to do is vendor your, like the raid drops that you get. If you get like a mini, you can sell it for more gating crystals and stuff without having to go all the way to the aerodrome and go into a raid instance and interact. yeah, if you want to pick up a ghostly infusion for a character and you don't want to go into a raid instance to get it or go to the aerodrome, you can just use these. I find them very valuable because when I do a raid clear, I end up with like 2 or 3 minis, and it's just easier for me to be wherever I am in the world and use these to get rid of it. Next up is the White Mantle portal device. This drops as a very rare drop from the raid boss Zera, and essentially it lets you have a portal like a Mesmer, and it lets so you can do anything a Mesmer can do with their portal. It has a very long cooldown, so you don't get too many uses out of it. But generally speaking, you're not going to use it that often. Maybe you're helping a friend do a jumping puzzle and they fell and they can't get back up. So you can just use this portal if you're not on a Mesmer to help them back to where you were. It is, in my opinion, a must-have sort of item. And you can buy it from the Magnetite Shard vendor. I believe it's in the Stronghold of the Faithful rewards. Yeah, you can buy it for 1,000 gating crystals and 3 gold. If you raid it all and you don't have one, it's totally worth your time to get one. It's one of the best items that you can get from raids in terms of quality of life. Next up is my Infinite Mist Omnipotion. I don't fractal as much anymore as I used to years ago, but it is nice to have my Omnipotion available on every character whenever I log into that character. So here they are. Next up is my portable composter. This is an item that you get while you're doing ascended cooking, and it lets you salvage food for the constituent materials in the food to help you craft ascended food. I often, especially in World v World, you'll get drops and stuff with random foods in it that you don't want, and sometimes they're only worth like a silver. It's usually easier in that situation to just salvage the food than try to sell it for a silver. Next up is my portable position rewinder. This is the jumping puzzle god. It allows you to set a marker, and then you can activate it again to return to the location where you return to your marker, essentially. So when you're doing a jumping puzzle, if it's a jump that you're not confident you're going to make, you set the marker, you jump. If you don't make it, you return and you try again. It is wonderful. I believe you get it in Living Story Season 3 from one of the maps for map currency. And if you don't have it, you 100% should get it because it's incredibly high value. Next is the Snowflake Gobbler. This is a gem store item that appears only during Winter's Day for sale, and you definitely want it. What it gives you, it eats snowflakes, and what it gives you is a buff that gives you more XP, more gold, and crucially, reward track gain in PvP and World v World, and it stacks with all your other boosters from World v World. So if you are going to do a long World v World session where you're trying to finish a reward track, maybe to get a gift of battle or something, this will make it happen 25% faster. You cannot live without this item if you are going to play World v World for any extended amount of time. Next up is the Candy Corn Gobbler, another item that you cannot live without in World v World. It gives you it eats candy corns and gives you buffs as if you were using an XP booster, as if you were using a heroic booster, or an XP booster or a karma booster. It gives you all of those booster buffs. Some people actually pay real money from the cash shop to get those buffs. So for the fact that you can get it for candy corn, super high value. Normally it's best in World v World because it gives you more reward track, more world XP, but you will see me and pretty much every other streamer when End of Dragons comes out using this to get every XP buff possible so that we can max out our masteries as fast as possible. And this is available only during the Halloween event. So if you don't have it next Halloween, I advise you to get it. My penultimate item is the Portable Legion Waystation. This is from the Drizzlewood Coast um, Living Story episode, and it basically drops the way station, which lets all the players around you in the open world get the CC debuff, and it gives a massive CC debuff. And this item single-handedly lets bad players break very difficult open world break bars, and it can carry you through a lot of open world PvE. Most of the time, someone will drop one where it's necessary, but sometimes they don't. And in that case, you have them, so you can drop them. Highly recommend stocking up on a bunch of them. And then the last item is my delectable birthday cake. And you might ask why I have this, since I use good food on my warrior at least, and then maybe even some of the worldly world foods on my alt. I find that I do end up playing a lot of characters with Celestial stats. I play in open world. I play a lot of Celestial Renegade, a lot of Celestial Herald, a lot of Celestial Mesmer, a lot of Celestial Firebrand, and what I find is I don't mind using this food on them, so I will definitely put it down. The other thing is, in open world, a lot of players are hella lazy, and what they end up doing is not using any food at all. But if you put this down, there is a reasonably high percentage chance that they will at least use it, which is far better than nothing. And those players will contribute that much more than they would normally do. But anyway, guys, so that is it. Oh, and where do you get it from? You get it from, I think it's the 9th birthday. It is a 9th birthday reward achievement item. So once you hit your 9th birthday on any of your characters, you will get one. So the only thing, if you don't have it yet, you'll get it in time. But anyway, guys, that's it. That is everything in my shared inventory slots. I'm sure some other people have a couple different items that I might have left out that I don't find as valuable, or some questions about why I picked the ones I did. Please leave any comments you have in below, and I will be reading them. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great evening, and I will see you next time.